All right, welcome back, everybody. And we're going to feature a team in Dynasty here. Joshua, Bare Naked Ladies. Headline, it's been interesting since he's started in Dynasty. Lots of draft issues. We've obviously heard you bring it up in the chat, Josh, and it's obviously created a very mediocre start for you here in Dynasty.
I agree. Definitely the draft issues, looking at his draft, it definitely hurt him. Especially who would he take it at 2-1? I think he drafted a kicker at 2-1 instead of taking somebody he probably would else would take him. Looking at his last place finish, though, he went last season he went 3-10. He's 8-18. Yeah, as soon as I learn to speak words. And it's just not like him in LOC. It's the complete opposite. It's his alter ego in the Dynasty.
Yeah, he's been dreadful in Dynasty so far. Only 8 wins. And, I think even Robert has a better record than him right now.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you on there. Looking at his quarterbacks, he did take the 2 rookies. He got Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson. Those were his only 2 picks that he made. Then looking at his running back room, he has Swift, Mike Davis, Brian Hill, Rashad Penny, Boone. Looking at his wide receivers, Julio, Kenny G, Cooks, Juju, Sutton, which I think is it's pretty good. That's pretty good starting 5. Looking at his tight ends, is Herndon, who I think is losing that job to Croft, Ian Thomas, Bryant, and the Giovanni Ricci guy. Looking at his IDPs, I have them ranked, I believe. Why don't I just keep it scrolled over to that end? I actually have them ranked 7th or close to the middle of the road.
Yeah, the strengths I see on the team right away is in the DL position, the Bosa brothers and Brian Burns. I don't think it gets better than that starting trio at DL. Pretty good. Wide receiver room's pretty deep too, with 5 capable starters there, right? For sure. Obviously, the running back room is a bit of a concern. The quarterback room is always a bigger concern in Dynasty, though, and he addressed that in the draft, which he needed to. So I feel he's in a rebuilding phase, and he's trying to get it right here in Dynasty. And just, you got to think about, these players are going to be players you own pretty much forever unless you find trade partners. So it's building through the draft in Dynasty. That's the difference.
Yep, I have his quarterbacks ranked 11th, his running backs ranked 12th, his wide receiver room ranked 10th. But with that said, I have his flex ranked 2nd just because of all those wide receivers. And his tight ends I have ranked 16th. I think that's the worst tight end room in the league.
That's horrible, actually.
Yeah. So, yeah, 12th is worst, and that's why I have him ranked there. Looking at his draft, you gave him a C. I gave him a C plus just because of the 2 quarterbacks. If it wasn't for them, I probably would just give him a D because the computer doesn't know how to draft. And that's all I really have to say about it.
Yeah, I pretty much have the same thing. I wrote Lawrence and Wilson in round 1 to reshape the quarterback room. No choice on the right move, which is why he still got a C. But then you went Young, Hueku, Ramsey, and then, of course, the infamous Giovanni Ricci, which obviously ruined the rest of your draft. So it basically didn't give you anything for the following year.
Exactly. Looking at projections, you have him going 6 and 7. I have him going 8 and 5. I do think he plays in an okay division. You play your division opponents twice, and I'm pretty sure he can at least get the splits there. Maybe even steal a couple game or 2, and then he kind of plays a pretty, I'm not gonna say weak schedule, but it's not too bad. He plays me. I believe he plays Sabatica Spartans twice. He plays Unnecessary Roughness. He plays your brother, which I think are definitely losses. He plays AP, so he has an okay schedule, and I think he can pull out 8 and 5 easily.
Yeah, I got him starting out with 3 straight losses, then coming back with 4 straight wins, and then kind of going 500 the rest of the year. I think he's getting better, and it's going to be a process, and he has to understand that. And he has to find a way to draft maybe at home on your computer or your laptop. Because every time I hear you draft every year, Josh, it's usually you're at work or you're at school and you're on your phone. Like, man, you're bound to have some issues. Like, you know what I mean? So, and Dynasty is just one draft. It's only 8 picks. It's one you can't miss, though, because if you miss the rookies, it's a whole year wasted.
Well, not even that. It's one of those picks where when you make trades and you have, 4 picks in the top, I believe it's a top 28, 26, something like that. You can't mix those. They're going to go quick. They're going to come early, and that's where you're going to get your draft capital from, your future players, your future stars in those first 2 rounds. So you got to make those picks.
Totally.